Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Corrinala, and I live in the Pacific Northwest with my partner, our 2 kitties, and my 2 horses, which I'm going out to feed right now. Today is Friday, April 19th. It's about 6:15 in the morning. I'm just gonna pause. There's the sun coming up. It is very light out, which I really enjoy this time of the year. It's starting to get light before 6 a.m., light enough to see, which is awesome. So today I'm going to catch you up on some knitting. I have 2 finished objects, 2 cast-ons, and 1 project you have seen before. This past week, I should say, I went on a couple trail rides with Odin, one with a friend, one just on our own, and I went on a short bike ride yesterday to test out my mountain bike, which I haven't ridden in a while because Randy and I are going on a bike pack trip tomorrow, overnight. And the terrain is such that a mountain bike is required. So I have an older mountain bike, 2007, so it's a very nice bike, but it does not meet the current tire size standards that everyone's using these days. So if you're familiar with that, it's like 29er, plus bikes, on and on and on. So my mountain bike has 26-inch tires, and it works just fine. Curious where the horses are. Oh, I see them in Odin's stall. They'll be sorting them. Oh, there's Bragi. So Bragi's over there. He has seemed a little indecisive lately. I've been working with him a lot. And I will show a video of kind of the beginning of our training session earlier in the week. He's just been a little bit unpredictable. I mean, not in a dangerous way, but just he just seems very uncertain. So, and he seems a lot more confident if I tell him that he needs to go into his stall for breakfast. Which is, I don't know, a little odd because it's breakfast time. Go in your stall. So anyway, I'm going to get to feeding. Good morning again, everyone. Welcome to the knitting part of my podcast. I just came up from the barn, and you would have heard that intro that I normally do every Friday morning. As you can see, I have my barn uniform on. Just a typical long sleeve shirt, and my hair with probably a little hat messiness. Hope that's fine with you. Hope you have a nice beverage. I am working on my 2nd cup of tea and maybe a project to work on while I talk about my projects. I have a cup warmer back there, and it's really nice if you are prone to setting your cup down and forgetting it, and then you have a cold beverage to drink, which I like hot beverages in the morning. So it'll stay warm for as long as it needs to stay warm, and that's pretty awesome. So let's catch up. This week, I in the intro, I gave you kind of a rundown of what was going on this week. My trainer's coming today. I'm going to work a little bit. I need to make a quick trip to town to get some horse supplies. And then my trainer's going to come. And then hopefully I'll get out on Odin for a short trail ride. It's just going to be a beautiful day today. It's supposed to be, it's like in the upper 30s right now, so quite chilly, and then get up to the upper 60s this afternoon. So beautiful spring day, and I'm extremely motivated to get out and enjoy it. Shall we get on with the knitting? So first finished objects, you have seen these socks. These are the Mica socks out of the 52 weeks of socks. I have not worn them yet. They are not blocked. If you have followed me for a while, by the way, if you have followed me for a while, welcome back. If you're new here, I hope you enjoy this content. I typically talk about knitting. I talk about my horses. I talk about, if you've watched the intro, I've talked about bicycles. So those are kind of the three main elements of my life, I suppose, besides work. And I do garden, do some gardening. It's just kind of barely started gardening season right now. So this is a part Colorwork pattern. The main sock yarn is from Legacy Fiber Arts from one of their 2023 Advent weeks. And the contrast yarn, I believe, is a Knit Picks, probably Stroll or one of their sock yarns. So the contrast color that came with this is lavender and just was not showing up enough. So I ended up ripping out the first sock and then using this much brighter color. There's also a Colorwork section, just a 2-row Colorwork section in the toe. Fun socks, I use Chowgoo Red Lace, size 0. I always knit the smallest size. I think this pattern was in a DK pattern, so it was a 56 for the small and a 60 for the medium size. And since I was using fingering, I just used my regular cast on count, which is 60 with those small size 0 needles, because I am somewhat of a loose knitter. For the Colorwork section, I used a larger needle, a 1.5 millimeter, or 2.5 millimeter needle, because size 0 is I feel like I should know this. I say this all the time, but I'll talk about needle size later. So finished object number 1. I know lots of people keep track of how many finished objects they have and how many, socks they have. I honestly don't know. I'm guessing that's my 3rd pair of socks for this year, which is actually pretty good for me. Second finished object, I just finished this last night. So my Cryptid cowl. So this is the double, whoops, upside down. So this is Bigfoot. Let me get it maybe more centered so you can see it. This is a double side cowl made out of sport weight yarn, so it's quite thick, quite comfy. It had a provisional cast on this end, and then a pearl row for an easy fold over. So the Cryptid cowl is just like one panel of the Cryptid and then its habitat. So again, reversible. Most of this yarn is Knit Picks. The darker color is a spin cycle, and it is a much lighter weight yarn than the sport or DK weight, no, sport weight of Knit Picks. So I ended up having to change needle size. So this was a size 4, US size 4, so 3.5 millimeters. And then for the reverse side, which is pretty much mostly all Knit Picks, I ended up using a size 6. So this was, again, a project that I ended up frogging a lot of it. Let me see if I can find the Cryptid. Okay. And I haven't blocked this, so it's a little bit strange. So this is, oh, here it is. This is the Loch Ness Monster, so you can see Nessie's head, and then the body kind of loops around. So I think you can see like this right here is part of the loop. And then when I got to the part with the spin cycle yarn, I switched back to size 4 needles. And you can see where I joined it right here. So I think hopefully this will take care of itself by blocking. This was a Kitchener all the way around. And I think a lot of the things that are kind of, you know, a little bit off will be fixed by blocking. So very warm and snuggy, not appropriate for this time of the year, but it'll be great for winter. So that is about all I can stand to have that on. So I may block this later today. We'll see how the day goes. I have a lot going on. You know, I've already mentioned a few things that I'm doing, and then I also need to pack for our bike trip that we are leaving for tomorrow, and I think I mentioned that. Let me show you the works in progress. You have seen this before. So this is a kind of a do-it-yourself Raglan sweater. I'm holding one skein. Well, it's 2 strands of fingering, one main color held with scraps and minis, and it's primarily, I'm trying to find a sleeve to kind of, here we go. I think this is how it works. Is that right? Or maybe this is the sleeve. It's hard to tell at this stage just because it's not very big, but here are the colors held together. And again, the theme is green. The yarn that has the brown in it is the Polka Dot Creek Halloween mini. And then some other colors in here are just other minis and scraps. I think some of these are from the Polka Dot Creek Christmas or Advent. And then this one that has some lavender, that's from the Legacy Fiber Arts Christmas leftover Advent skein here. So right now I am holding, so this is the main color. So it's, I think, showing up more gray on camera, but it is kind of a cool green, like a very pale mint green. And I have this bag of scraps that's primarily green in theme. And I'll talk about the needles in a minute once I find. So this is the green that I'm holding with this currently. So I'm basically alternating between the colorful minis and a plain mini. So we'll see how this goes. I'm still working on the yoke at this stage. I think I'm probably about halfway through the yoke. This is superwash yarn, so it will grow. That's fine with me. If it's drapey, if it's a little baggy, that is okay. So that's works in progress number 1. Not in a hurry to finish this, so I usually knit on that in the morning, although I wanted to show you a new cast on. So I forgot to mention I'm using 3, I think US size 3 needles, and they're clover needles for that. Sip OT. Okay, so the next, this new cast on is from this Master Sock Knitting by Ann Budd. I got this used. So, and I am actually knitting this pair of socks that's on the front cover. This is called Thigh High Stripes. It's a lot of color work, I think there are 7 colors. I chose different colors because I'm using all kind of scrap stash yarn. So this is the first sock. I have just started this first section of color work, and I have kind of some tangles here, so bear with me a moment while I'll talk about the needles in a second, but I just wanted to show you. So the cast on edge is this kind of rose color, followed by a brown. This is a brown, it was meant to be a contrast color for heels and toes. I bought that yarn in Wisconsin. The pink is a hand-dyed yarn, fiddle bits, kind of a thicker fingering. So by Ray Whiting, Nativity. And I'll have the resource for that in the show notes. And then this brown I think is Utopia, another thicker sock yarn. And then the white is a West Yorkshire Spinners, and it's a thinner fingering weight yarn. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. So I am knitting on smaller needles than what calls for, because I am a loose knitter, and I was going to try to talk about, if I can find these socks, because I think I lost, oh yeah, my bookmark's on the table right here, so I will find these. Thigh-high stripes. So, so I remember, and this is by Deborah Newton. Here is another picture. So these will be very warm and cozy for the winter. So I've cast on, they call for US size 2, which is a 2.75. I am using a US size 1 for the cast on, and a US size 2. These are Addy Flexi Flips for the color work, because I do knit tighter for the color work sections, and there are quite a number of color work sections here. I'm just starting the first one, so let me see here. So that little square section right there. So I, since these are supposed to go up and over my knees, I'm not particularly concerned about whether these are going to be too big there. I want them more to fit in the ankle and the feet, because that's where it is going to bother me. So the notes, it does say, take care to maintain the same gauge in both the solid color stockinette and stranded color work. If necessary, use a different needle size for the color work. So I'm aware of, so that's what I'm doing. So, and there are a number of charts on this, so I'm looking forward to digging into that. I do like to have one color work project on the go. So it's a heel flap and gusset. So the notes also say that the socks were knitted in a relaxed 2-ply yarn that has a high percentage of alpaca. So mine do not have alpaca. I think alpaca doesn't hold its shape as much. So I'm glad to be knitting these in wool. So let me show you the other colors. So you've seen the kind of rose and the white and the brown. So I also have turquoise, which is a West Yorkshire spinner. And I have a dark blue, which is a local hand-dyed yarn that I got up in, I think this is Jada Woo. And I have knit these, let's see, at least 2 pairs of socks. So for a Sophia, she's the Swedish podcaster, Sophia's Tales. I knit a pattern of hers with contrasting cuffs and heels, and then also the Kay Jones knit along, the Advent knit along, the Nutcracker socks. And so I have this gold also, or yellow, which were also left over from the Nutcracker yarn or knit along, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember who that yarn dyer is. It's a long name. I want to say it's a European name. I want to say it might be German. This is some legacy yarn, this gray. It is Lolo Did It, Hippo for Baby Gray is what it's called. I love that it has handwritten colorway on this. And those are the colors that I have chosen. So it wouldn't surprise me if I run out of some of these, including the brown, depending on how much is used. So I will just have to go stash diving or perhaps buy more yarn for these. So fun project, long-term project. But as you work on things, they tend to come off your needles. I'm a consistent knitter. I knit at the same time every day, like first thing in the morning and while I'm drinking my tea before work, and then in the evening when I'm winding down. That is that. This is in a bag made by my mom, Farm Animals. I bought this fabric for her for a birthday or Christmas in Harmony, Maine, and apparently bought so much that she has been making me project bags, which is just fine with me. So good, and it's a drawstring bag, so super easy, no zippers to get stuck. And then my other cast on is also in a bag made by my mom. I did not gift her this fabric, or at least I don't think I did. So she is a quilter, and she likes to make me project bags, which I love that. So this is another sock pattern. I am knitting from this 52 weeks of yarn, 52 weeks of socks, and the Mica socks I was talking about, that was also from this book. So this is the third pair of socks. This is a lace pattern, and it is called Lumme, Lumme. It is pattern number 14. I think the Mica socks were number 15. Yep. So this is what they look like, and it's kind of hard to tell from this picture because it's just dark gray, slightly variegated. Tonal, but with definitely some variation in the pattern, and it's kind of hard to see the lace pattern in this picture. However, there are a number of charts, and it's a lot of the sock is knit in garter stitch, and then there's a lace pattern, and so these are toe up. I can tell you about the needles. So these Chalgu red lace, size 0 are 2 millimeter, which I was thinking that was right, because the 2.5s are size 1, US size 1. So I am using a Freckled Whimsy self-striping yarn. I find that self-striping yarn works very well for these types of patterns, and I have not got very far. But it's so pretty and it's so cute. So again, toe up using Judy's Magic cast on. So I read the directions and had a couple false starts, but you can see the garter. And I am just starting the lace pattern in this row, so can't see much yet. But excuse me, there's a left and a right chart, and I am knitting the size small. So Freckled Whimsy, let me see if I can find the color. Ooh, I might be lying. No, this is the old one. Twinkle Toes Tea House was the other pattern. Actually, I should put that in here with the Mica socks. Okay, so let me see if I can find the label. There is a contrast color, blue. I will probably do at least for heels. I'm not sure about cuffs. Maybe not, because the cuff also has a lace pattern in it. So, but probably for heels. Very pretty together. And I cannot find the label, so apologize for that. especially for those of you who are Freckled Whimsy fans. So that is my knitting. If you follow Polka Dot Creek or Freckled Whimsy or, you know, a lot of other yarn dyers, you will know that it's time to start thinking about advents. I mean, the yarn dyers are thinking about advents. I used great willpower and decided to not purchase any yarn advents. I did purchase a stitch marker advent, so that will be fun. I can definitely use more stitch markers. I don't need more yarn, although when I was watching the Bakery Bears podcast last week and they announced a sock knit along with using a Kay Jones pattern and a Polka Dot Creek mini set, I of course immediately went online and ordered it. So I am not completely guilt-free of yarn buying, but I think I am doing better than last year and previous years, and I am also using a lot of my stash. So maybe I'll get in a position to need to buy yarn eventually. I still need to buy yarn for Randy's mitten project that I promised him for his birthday, but to be completely honest, he is a sewist. He typically makes bike bags, and for Christmas he is making me a project bag that's made out of scraps of leather, square scraps of leather, and he hasn't finished that yet. So so it's kind of a reason to like not rush into the mitten pattern. You know, this isn't a competition, of course. But if I have an excuse to work on other projects that I'm interested, I'm going to take it. That is it for the knitting portion. This will probably be the end of the video for today. I don't know when I'm going to post it yet, just because I really need to get to work for an hour or two, and then get on with my day. So this may go up later in the afternoon. So I hope you have a wonderful mid-April. Hopefully it's spring where you are and you are enjoying it very much. So take care, and I'll see you next week. Saturday morning, Bragi and I are practicing a little trailer training. As you know, it's a little bit of a journey from the barn to the front. We made that. And there's the trailer with his cone. Another gorgeous spring day. Odin and I are on a ride by ourselves today. It's early Sunday morning. Have some stuff to you can hear Odin. He must have been holding his breath on the first section of the trail. Now he's letting it all out. So, yeah, looking forward to a fun ride today. So the trails in the tree farm opened yesterday, and I'm on a fairly, Odin and I, are on a fairly lightly used trail, which is kind of nice, because there's probably a lot of dogs and mountain bikers out here recreating today. So very nice woods, very peaceful.